Good morning. Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V. We're going to try this again. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a travel nurse? Well, my name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I'm the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the nurse nurturer and the facilitators of Secret Supples Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to teach nurses to leverage the knowledge that they already know working from their computers around the world, making money and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals and to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you were ever told that you would not succeed. And remember to click the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and enroll in our 12-week course, VP Nursing Business Academy. Now, I want to make sure you can hear me. You can hear me, correct?
Yes.
Sweet, sweet. Our special guest today is Ketia Charles Zamora. Kay Charles, as she calls herself, has been a registered nurse for 10 and a half years. She has been working as a travel nurse for 8 years and is licensed in 40 U.S. states. She graduated from Broward College with her ADN and is currently enrolled in the BSN program. She plans on obtaining her MSN in nursing leadership and management. And those of us who have been licensed in multiple states, you probably got your degree in that for sure. She is the published author of the story A Single Mother's Journey and Life Lessons. The book was published in 2018 and is written under the pen name Roxy Gaultier. As the title suggests, the book recounts her journey through divorce, betrayal, and putting herself through nursing school while raising her newborn infant and 3 school-aged children. Most recently, Kay is the host of the new podcast, Nurse to Nurse, Making Connections, which will be launched in a few weeks. She is also the founder of the Facebook group Travel Nurses on the Go, which is a platform that allows travel nurses to share job and housing opportunities around the country. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry about all of the technical difficulties.
That's okay. It all works out well. So now, I usually start out by asking why you became a nurse, but your story had a twist to it prior to becoming a nurse. Your husband left you prior to you having your last child. What were some of the thoughts that you had when you were first told that he would be leaving?
Oh gosh, I don't. It was. I guess it wasn't something that I was expecting. We had a 3-week-old baby, so obviously, this was our 4th child. So I was shocked, and I think what I ended up doing was I kind of went into I need to save this mode, and I begged, I cried, I pleaded, and I'm a very prideful person. Or I used to be. I'm working on that, and it was not an easy thing to do, And I was like, okay, what is it? I'll do this. I'll change this. I'll go back to school because I think that was a part of his reasoning and stuff, and I think that was the initial thing for me where I was like, we just had a baby. What are you talking about? But that's kind of how my initial like shock and was like, what's happening right now.
And I think that because my husband left me as well, and one of the things that I used to think that it was something that was outside of me, but the reality is that it's not something that's outside of me. The reality is that when people walk out of your life, you got to let them go, right? I
Oh, yes.
remember watching, and I say that there's a video by TD Jakes, and the video is Nothing Just Happens. And he talks about the fact that he has the gift of goodbye. And he talks about the fact that when people walk out of your life, you got to let them go.
Yes,
And he has a scripture that says they came up from us, that it may be manifested they were not of us, for had they been of us, no doubt they would have continued with us.
Yeah.
And that scripture changed my life. And I realized that people are going to walk in and out of your life, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have people who are the roots. And Tyler Perry, he explains it like that. There are people that are the roots of the tree. There are people who are the branches, and there are people that are the leaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
The leaves, whenever the wind blows, they blow, right?
Wow.
And they go and drop off here and there. And then there's the branches on the tree, and the branches, they look really, really stable, right? And then all of a sudden, when you step out on them, because you need that pressure, and because you need somebody to help you as well. Whenever you step out on them, then they they gone
Break.
too, right? They break.
Mhm.
But then there's the roots of the tree. And those
Wow.
people who are the roots of the tree are the people who are going to stay in your life, and they're in your life because of who you are, not because of your purpose, not because of anything else. And that thing literally changed my life.
I've never heard that before. That is a beautiful analogy. Wow.
It is
I'm gonna use
amazing.
that one. I'm gonna have to, go back and listen to that again. That was,
Yeah,
yeah, that's awesome. And that it is true though, you
it
know.
is true.
Yeah,
It is
very
so
much
true.
so. Yeah.
So now he left. He said that he left for one reason, but you found out that he was having an affair with someone that you were very close to. Now, how were you able to get past the feeling of betrayal?
Well, he still claims till today that nothing was happening while we were married. It was my cousin slash best friend at the time. This is
Wow.
somebody who was like an integral part of my life. I mean, she knew everything about me, like, and I think that probably was the problem. And I think, it was an issue of not having a choice. I had to kind of like be like, hey, I have these kids depending on me. I couldn't allow myself to fall into that darkness, that feeling. It was, I tell people all the time, and I say in the book, like I really felt like I didn't have a choice but to move past it or move beyond it. And it wasn't an easy thing to do, but I just knew I had to get out of bed every day. It wasn't for me, and I still don't know. When I think about it, I don't know how I did it. That's the honest truth. It was just that there was no other option. Like if you don't have an option, like there's only one choice, and that's the only choice to make. That's kind of how it was for me. And writing the book kind of like made me realize that again. Kind of going back to it again. But yeah, it was shocking. The family was shocking. Our circle was, was like whoa, But I had to do it. The kids were the reason. They were the why.
Gotcha, gotcha. And that's huge, right?
It
Because
is,
you know
yes.
that you have to, you brought those children in this world, and so you got to stand up for them, right?
Oh yeah, and one was a newborn, so he definitely was depending on me for everything that he needed, in this world. So that had to be. I couldn't do anything other than just.
Get it done. Get it
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
Camila said that she's licensed in 38 states. You got a degree. You got a degree in that
yes,
licensing, because that
yes.
licensing is a beast.
Oh yeah, it sure is. You gotta work it and work it.
That's right. So now you went to nursing school shortly after this. How did you find the courage to take on nursing school after such a personal blow?
Yeah. So when we were married for about 11 and a half years. And for the first maybe 8 years or 9 years, I was working. He was working. He was a primary breadwinner. He made a lot more money than me at the time. And so I had stopped working couple years before that. And so I was home. I was home with the kids. I had my real estate license, had a few other things that I was doing on the side, but it wasn't a full-time job. So when he left, that income left. And I knew, and in nursing is something that my mom had been drilling in my head since high school. We don't listen to our parents, and it was just a rebellious streak that I had, at the time. So when he left, I was just like, okay, I was getting child support at the beginning, and then that stopped. But I knew that the child support was going to be ending, and the alimony was going to be ending. But I was like, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to feed these kids? I can't sit here and dwell and drown myself in sorrow. These kids have to eat, and I have to take care of ourselves, find a new house. And that just was just a thing to do. So I did the doula program before that for like a few months. And then after the doula program, I signed up for my prereqs, and it was again not an option. There was, nursing was the thing that, to me, nursing was something that I was always supposed to do. And then when it finally happened, when this happened, I had to do it.
So now explain to me what a doula is.
Give me 1 second. The doula, it's not a nurse, but it's a person assists who assists birthing women during labor, and you pretty much are assisting them, helping them through the pain process where they want to go natural without any medication, and that's the role to assist.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's never been my thing. I wanted the epidural at like 28 weeks. I was like, we're not going.
Ah,
Nobody got time for that bullshit. No.
that was me until I did the doula program, but that was after
Uh,
my last child, so.
Okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha, gotcha. I don't have to worry about that anymore. Thank you, Lord.
Yes, me
Now
too.
you ended up moving into an efficiency, which is a one room with your children and simply a mattress on the floor. And this seems like a I will do whatever it takes type of attitude. Now, how did you develop this attitude of not giving up?
I think it all goes back to the no choice thing for me with the kids. And I think maybe before the kids, I probably would have been like, it would have been like a different mindset. But when you have little people looking at you and they're depending on you, and I initially lost the house and we moved into an apartment, got evicted out of that apartment because I couldn't keep up the rent when the alimony and child support stopped within like a year after the divorce. And I moved in with my sister for a few months, but then you're bringing five people to somebody else's house. It's my sister. She wanted me to stay, and I kind of wanted to give the kids their own space, but it wasn't a matter of I was like, okay, I had to do it. So we moved into the one room, and it was literally a mattress, like you said, like it was a king size mattress, so we had some space on there, but again, and I kind of like wanted the kids to want to be able to understand too, like this is your space. It's a small space, but it's our space, and I think it's made them appreciate what we have now more. But back then it was like this is the space. It wasn't even a matter of an option. We needed a place. My sister, I couldn't keep me and four kids there forever. Afterwards we just kind of like did whatever we could rather. And I don't know. I think it always goes back to that no choice option for me, or no
Gotcha.
option thing for me.
Gotcha, gotcha. And it's super important that you understand that space. And Camila said, I love how Ketia turned an unexpected change in her life into motivation to do whatever it takes for her kids. And so, and if you're commenting outside, there's only one, I think I want to say is within the group, either on my live on my personal pages, you can see the comments. But if I may not be able to see your comments, just to let some of you know, because I was like, well, these comments are coming through and I didn't know that they were there. But anyway, so when you got out of nursing school, you did not have a job. Now, your ex mother in law insisted that you move in. I love her. How important was that gesture for you at this point in your life?
Well, first of all, I've been divorced 15 years this year, and she will not allow me to call her ex anything. So she is my mother-in-law.
I love it. I love it.
So she is
She's
my
the
mother.
root of the tree. She's that
Yes.
root.
Oh, yes. Yes. So she's not ex anything. She'll tell you. But it was something that touched me beyond. I don't know, beyond words. It was, and I think she did it as a no choice option either, because I finished nursing school. During nursing school, I was getting financial aid scholarships, and I was on government assistance, and the government assistant was still coming for the food portion, but financially, this is how I was paying for my rent. I would pay my rent for 4 months, and then when the next financial aid check comes, that's when I pay the next set of rent for the next 4 months. And when school stops, financial aid stops. All that stopped, and it was like I remember talking to her, and it's like, yeah, I have to figure out what I'm going to do now. She's like, oh, you're moving in with me. You guys are moving in with me. I said, what? I was like, no, mommy, we can't do that. She's like, what? Yes, you're moving in with me. You're moving in with me. And she moved us in, and it's something that touched me. This woman is amazing. I had such a great support system, my village, I like to call them. Her, my mom, my sister, everybody. So it was something where even our friends couldn't believe. And she's an awesome woman. So it meant a lot because the kids were able to come out, get into another stable home for a short time, and I stayed there until I was able to save up enough money as a nurse to move us into an apartment.
And they get grandma all day long. I love it. I
Yes,
love it. I
yes,
love
yes,
it.
yes.
So now you needed to do some travel nursing because of the census slash salary concerns
Oh,
from your
yes.
full time job. Now, what are some of the tips that you would give someone who is traveling for the first time?
Oh my gosh, make sure you are firm in your skills, because that's the one thing I tell everybody. And I have a episode on the podcast coming up about that. Is you have to make sure, because once you travel, if you're a new nurse, you used to having your friends around, the four walls that even floating into another unit sometimes can be a little bit intimidating, and within that same hospital that's your home hospital. But now once you venture out of the state, out of your hometown, and now you're into a new environment, you have to be able to know what you're doing. You have to be able to, because it's like a lot of time it's sink or swim for you. When you get out there. So if you don't know what you're doing, or you're not comfortable in your skill set, it's gonna be a very harsh reality.
I love
So the
it.
money
Now,
sounds good, the flexibility is good, but you have to be able to know what you're doing and be able to fly solo.
so now, what are some of the tips and tricks that you would give for as far as housing is concerned? Because I've heard
Oh,
that that is a huge thing.
it is. Do your research prior. Know the area that you're going to. If you've never been there before, if you have friends or family in that area, get information from them. Get on a platform like how we have, like I have with the travel nurses on the go. We share information all the time to talk about, this area is good, that area is bad. Like the better places to go, is trying to stay close to the hospital. Especially if you're not gonna have a vehicle that you have to depend on, like ride shares, and such, or public transportation. So you definitely want to do your research prior to getting there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So now, you have your own podcast that you're starting now. What was your primary reasoning for wanting to start your podcast?
Oh my God, connection, connecting people. That's my thing, to connect people, to get people talking, because I may have this information, somebody else doesn't have it. And I came from nothing, after my divorce. And it was because of the goodness of other people that I was able to, get through it, friends, family, people that, sometimes people that I don't even know, would kind of, just whether it's a kind word. Connection is a big thing for me, so I really want to connect nurses to each other, and they can help lift each other and kind of take help you, go to the next level or next step for you.
Yeah, and that's really, really huge. And I didn't really understand that at first, because I tell people all the time that to the core of who I am, I'm an introvert, right?
Hmm.
But in order for us to be able to, the people that we already know are not the people that we need to know. The people that we don't know are the people that we need to know most of the time, right? And so, being extroverted and trying to make those connections is huge. Because, like, I can sit in a corner and read a book and I'm good. Like, but it is hugely the connections that you make because of that one
Yes,
reason, because there's so many things that you don't know, and typically someone else has that answer, and being
absolutely.
able to connect with those people and getting those answers is
It is.
huge.
It's important. Key sometimes.
Huge.
Hmm.
So now, what is a book that you have read that has been impactful in your life, and why was it so impactful?
Oh my gosh, I've been reading so many books that have been very played a very key part in my life. Most recently, I'd have to say it's The Power of Now. I don't know if you've ever read Eckhart Tolle.
Mm-mm.
Yes, it's called The Power of Now, and it was a game changer for me, just to kind of like stress the importance of being present, of
Ah,
being in the now. And it talks about how there's never been a time that wasn't now, right? Anything that happened to you in the past happened in the now, right? Anything that's going to happen in the future is going to happen in the now. So if you allow yourself to be in the now, you can really be present. You can be that presence that's actually experiencing everything. Like I'm having this interview with you, it's happening right now, and I'm giving my full presence, my full attention to now. And anything happiness, bills that I'll do tomorrow, that's tomorrow's problems, right? Whatever happened yesterday, my divorce, that was yesterday's problem. That was just a former now, right? It was
right.
always been now. So a lot of those types of books I've listened to on Audible again and again and again. Anything that's happening in my life, good or bad, if I go back to that book, it always brings me back, always centers me back to the now.
I love it. I love it. Because a lot of times what happens is we're so distracted because of all the
The
technology,
noise.
right? The noise, and being present in the now is huge, huge, huge. And even myself, I mean, I'm a girl of technology. I really like it, obviously. But what I do know is that sometimes I just got to put my phone to the side, especially like when my grandchildren and my children are over, and I've got to put it to the side and I've got to say, okay, there was most important. My time with them is most important. So I've just got to, let that be. And it's becoming more and more important to me as every day goes on, for sure. Now, who is a nurse leader that has impacted your career, and why were they so impactful?
I don't know if I can name a single person, but I
Okay.
can honestly say, because there's been so many people that's done so much in my life, in nursing and in life. The best way I can answer that question, honestly, Dr. V, would be to tell you that my very first nursing assignment, it was in Minnesota. and I was a 2-year-old nurse, right? I was a baby nurse. And that experience, that culture of that hospital, it was a teamwork culture. No patient was your patient or my patient or anybody's patient. Everybody was everybody's patient. That no pass rule that they have, no pass zone, you can't pass a call light. Like it'll be like 5 a.m. and it's like, okay, what do you need? You need an IV, you need a Foley, you need meds to be given, are you behind, are you backed up? Nobody was ever drowning, no matter what the census was. And I think I took, and I'm glad that was my first experience. I think I took that with me after that for the rest of my travel career, and I've applied it all the time. That it was never your thing, and I think that's been a big difference for me. And I work for this residency program for new nurses, and so when you kind of like training these new nurses and telling them, I try to drill that into them, and I think I try to pass that on to them so they can take that with them, because that meant so much to me to see, because I came from a hospital where, oh well, that's not my patient, that's not my patient, or yeah, be getting another assignment, you got to figure it out, you sink or swim. It's like you're getting an assignment, somebody's asking the questions for you, somebody's putting the Foley for you, somebody's changing the patient, so you come in, you introduce yourself to the patient, you get your charting, and you're able to continue with your night. So that made a big impact for me, and I was able to take that with me to the rest of for the rest of my career, as well as try to pass it on to the new nurses that I would be training.
And that's a huge thing,
Oh
because
yeah.
a lot of, I mean, just being very cognizant of the fact that, we all have to take care of these patients.
Mhm.
And I remember working in the emergency department and having the one thing that we did exponentially well was code people. When people
Oh
would come
yes.
in, I mean you're on the monitor, you're giving
Yes.
drugs, you're doing
Rose.
chest compressions, and being very succinct in that. Sometimes it was a little chaotic when you first went into the room, especially if the
Mhm.
patient was an unexpected code. But a
Mhm.
lot of times in the emergency department, of course, we know whenever the patient is coming
Yes.
in, right? And walking in there and saying, these are your roles and this is what we're going to do,
Yeah.
and literally succinctly working that thing out was a game changer. It was a
There's
game
no
changer.
question, right? Everybody
Right.
knows what to do. Everybody knows their place, and that's where you can have a smooth, hopefully successful code.
That's right. And
Yeah.
the majority of the time they were successful because of that.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it was very, very stream. It was just very, very process oriented, but a very clean way of doing it. I
Ordered.
loved it. Right, exactly.
Chaos.
Yes, right. That's right. That's right. Because we are uh, in the emergency department. We're organized
Yes.
chaos.
Control.
I mean,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Organized chaos. Exactly. Exactly.
so now where can the audience find you?
Oh, yes. So I am, for the podcast, you can find me on Instagram at the Nurse to Nurse podcast. On YouTube, we are Nurse to Nurse, which is not really much going on there yet. On Facebook, it's Nurse to Nurse. And also, I'd like to plug my travel nurse group. It's on Facebook as Travel Nurses on the Go. So if you're gonna request, please answer the questions, and I'll accept everybody that comes in as a travel nurse, because I want to continue connecting everyone. My email is the Nurse to Nurse podcast at gmail.com. And for the book, you can find me at Roxy Gautier on all the social medias. That's RoxieGaultier.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. So super excited. Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
for coming
yes,
on.
yes,
And
yes.
I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties,
Me
but
too.
it is what it is. I mean, we just have to work
Absolutely.
with it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So my name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I'm the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer and the facilitators of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to teach nurses to leverage the knowledge that they already know working from their computers and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. And Ketia is the leader that we have exposed you to today. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you were ever told that you would not succeed. And remember to click the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and enroll in our 12-week course, VP Nursing Business Academy. You guys have a phenomenal rest of your day.